What's up, guys? Happy Monday. Just wanted to kind of explain some of the things that's been going through my mind lately. You know, if you've been following me, you've seen me post some wild-ass conspiracy theories talking about these elite people that are caught up in the pedophile rings and rape, and corruption in our government, fear-mongering over this virus, mainstream media just with the sensational headlines. And if you know me on a personal level, you know that's not really congruent with who I am. You know, people like to think of me as being fun and like going out there and partying and drinking and all the stuff that comes with being in your 20s and enjoying a good time. So this change in what I've been posting and talking about has come to a big shock to a lot of my friends and family. What I'm trying to bring light to is the fact that we create our own realities. And while it's important to, stay on these high vibrational, happy, light, airy topics, it's just as important to bring light to these lower vibrational things that we can finally transmute into light if we talk about them and ask the questions that haven't been answered. There's something called the human scale of consciousness, and it's like a 1 to 1,000 scale. Things like anger, fear, grief, they all are lower on that scale, whereas things like acceptance, neutrality, joy, love, all the way up to enlightenment are higher on the scale. If you live in the world where you only want to know about the pedophilia and the corruption and the virus and all these, fearful, low vibrational things, then that's the type of reality that you will continue to create for yourself. Being aware is one thing, living it isn't another. Think about how the media makes their money. They want you to be in fear. They want you to be scared. Think about how the government coerces people to vote a certain way or to accept a vaccine that has no extensive research behind it. What I've learned over this past year or so is how to not react but respond and understand what my emotions are coming from. And a lot of those things are through like meditation or breath work or personal development, and it's just really made all the difference. For instance, breath work. I recently just became certified as a coach, and in my coaching training, I set my intention before the class of, if I'm holding on to anything, any of those lower vibrational feelings or emotions, whatever it may be, then I want to release it in this session. And I didn't really think anything of it. I wasn't sure if that was actually going to, come through in the session or how it would play out. But let me tell you, about 35 minutes into this just breathing class, rhythmic breathing to music, check it out in my link tree if you want to see more, I started bawling my eyes out. Like, couldn't catch your breath, crying, couldn't get a word out. And I didn't know what it was from. Like, what the hell is this? It feels good. It feels like a release that I need, but I have no idea what this may be. And finally, the message came behind the tears, and I understood what it was. And what came up for me as a 28-year-old at the time, this is, a month or so ago, is that, Mac, you have hated yourself to your core for the majority of your life. While you may have this fun, outgoing personality, there's always been a part that you hated. And from a young age, I always knew I was different. And when it came to terms that I was probably gay, that hatred was just so overpowering as a kid. I was like, I can't be this way. My family doesn't want me to be this way. God or whoever wouldn't want me to be this way. My school, my friends, I can't be gay. So I hated myself to my core. And yeah, I could understand that wasn't any new revelation for me of why I'd be crying. But something that did come up, which is so wild to me, is that when I was about 14 years old, my older brother, Bobby, and at the time he's this 18-year-old big football player about to play college football, 200 some pounds, whatever. He comes up to me and he goes, Mac, I love you and everything's going to be okay, but you got to be more careful for what you're searching for on the computer. And instantly I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, that's not me. I don't know what you're talking about. What? That was probably one of your friends. That's weird. I wouldn't do that. And the level of maturity that this 18-year-old kid told his younger brother, like, no, Mac, I understand it is you, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love you and it's going to be okay, but you just have to be more careful. Mom and dad use this computer too. And that's when I realized why the tears really came up. He was the first person in my life to ever say, you're not messed up, I love you, and it's going to be okay. And that sense of like letting those emotions on those lower vibrational of like inadequacy and lack and fear finally could like be relieved. But what else came up in that breathwork session was that about a month after he told me that, he was the only person in my life that knew he died in a car accident. So not only did the one person who knew my truth die with that secret, and I had to go back to square one and put things back away for another 6+ years, is so many people who were close to me kept saying, you're the big brother now, you're the big brother now. And while they meant it in a reassuring way, it made me feel like I wasn't able to process those darker, shadow, lower vibrational emotions. And I've held on to them for 14 years. They came up in a breathing class. While it might not seem related to what I'm talking about with this crazy content, once you can start letting go of those little bricks that you have in your backpack that are weighing you down, you finally feel liberated to like say what you want to say without any fear. You can be authentic and not like have to worry about how it comes across. So I just want you guys to know, when I am posting this stuff, it's not in a way to be divisive or like, oh, he's crazy, he's just trying to get a reaction. I truly, honestly believe that if you can look into some of these things that don't have the answers that are quite necessary and really get in tune with yourself, a lot more is going to change in this world than you know. I love you guys more than you know, and we will talk soon. Much love.